3D Jasmine Acrylic Nail Art Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish. Hi guys! In today's video I'm going to be showing you another one of my princess nails. This one's going to be Jasmine. So it's got the Jasmine nail with her little portrait on it, and then the second nail is really gorgeous teal glitter with a really pretty symmetrical filigree on top that's kind of lotus inspired, and I'm absolutely in love with both of these nails. So I hope you guys like this as much as I do, and don't forget to click subscribe to see all my future videos as well. I am going to begin with an overlay of a glittery white acrylic. This is for the Jasmine nail, and I'm just going to apply that in the background. I like my backgrounds for these little Disney Princess series to be very pastel so that you don't necessarily get distracted by it, but that little bit of glitter makes them just ever so slightly more princessy, I guess. Then encase it with a layer of clear acrylic and file it into shape with your E-file, starting with a coarse bit to remove any bulk, and then switching to a finer bit to make it so much easier to do your art on top of. And that's basically like buffing your nail. So if you want to use a buffer block, that is also just as effective. So I'm going to start sculpting my Jasmine with Cover Pink acrylic. And I just want to mention that the reason I'm using Cover Pink is because I do not have the right kind of tan color. So this actually makes me really upset. So I've been trying to find the right color of tan acrylic, and when you're shopping online, it's so hard to tell what you're ending up with, just in general with colors like that. And twice I have bought colors that I thought have looked like more like darker skin tones or more earthy tones online, and I get them and they look just like my other Cover Pinks, and I've been so upset about it. But now I actually did, after I did this nail, I bought some and they turned out, and I got them and they're perfect. So for future videos I have more options, which I'm so excited about. But I'm going to sculpt Jasmine's face shape, and then her neck, and then her shoulders, and her arms a little bit, and her chest. Not like too anatomically detailed here or anything, but just kind of a base shape so that when you start adding her clothes on top of it, it's not like you're trying to match it up and make it work out. It's already there and it's all done. So that is a nice little thing that I always, or sometimes I like to do it this way. In some of my future princess videos, you will see that I don't always necessarily sculpt their entire body and then add the clothes. Sometimes I do just their neck and then I add the clothes around it. It depends on my opinion that day, I guess. And so it's personal opinion, and you guys do not have to do it that way. Then with some really nice teal acrylic, I'm going to be sculpting her shirt, or yeah, I guess shirt, shirt. That's what I'm going with, and I'm sticking to it. And then I'm going to use black acrylic, and I'm going to sculpt her hair going around her face. The great thing with this is that you can kind of butt the hair color up around the face shapes, because it's almost like if you're doing a reverse French tip. So you have your nail bed down, which is going to be her face and her neck and her shoulders in this little analogy, and then the hair color is going to be the tip that you just kind of butt up, and it just sort of floats around it, and it works out pretty well. Especially if you have a little bit of height on her face, you're going to end up with that nice clean edge. And then add her black hair going around, and in some areas it does cover up the face, so it doesn't always work that way, but depending on the section that you're working on currently, then you can definitely do that. Add her hair going around, and I highly recommend, especially since her hair is black, you want to do more than one bead. Don't try to do it all at one time, because that color is going to end up staining absolutely everything. It's going to stain her face color, the background color of the nail, the teal of her shirt, whatever you have going on. The black acrylic will make very smudgy looking if you get it where you don't want it. So just do little beads at a time so you can control where it's going and make sure that it goes just nice and where it is supposed to be. Just like that. Kind of continue it down, fill in around her arms where it needs a little bit more, add another layer over her hair. Slow and steady wins the race with this kind of a scenario. And another thing with the 3D is that you can do as much as you want or as little as you like. I did not decide to do like her headband or anything with the paint. With acrylic, I decided to do that paint instead. So I'm going to first go ahead and start color correcting her skin tone with a couple different colors of tans and browns. And that's just going to make her much more, much more Jasmine, I guess, if you want to say it that way. But anyways, then with black paint, I'm going to be adding some outlines. On my other Disney princesses, I didn't necessarily use black outlines too much, but with her black hair, if you would have done brown outlines, they would have just disappeared. So you want to do black outlines so that they do show up. And then with some teal paint or some aqua paint, I'm going to be adding her headband, going across her hair, and then the little jewel, which you'll finish off with some gold paint in a moment. And then you're also going to want to take and dip your brush into that teal paint and into white. So double dip your brush, and then add the little sleeves going across the top of her shirt, and then the little hairband around the base of her hair, and then add some gold on her shirt, some gold for her necklace, and on her headband. Just like a little outline around her headband. Oh, and also don't forget her earrings. So do all of her jewelry and all of her little accessories with some metallic gold paint. And then I'm going to go through and I'm going to start doing her facial features. But this time I did start those out with brown, just because if you don't start, at least for me, I like to kind of sketch them in place with brown first and then go back through after I'm confident in their placement with some black. So after I have basically just her nose done in this circumstance, I went through and I did start adding them with black. So I did a little bit more on her nose, added one eye, and then did the other eye in her eyebrow. And for her eyes, I didn't do like a full outline. I just did her upper lash line, and then with brown I did her lower lash line, so it's a little bit more feminine and a little bit less rocker, I guess. And then fill in her eyes with some white paint, and then add her pupils with brown in a second when you get to it. You can touch up the outlines with black, add those pupils with brown, or the irises with brown and the pupils with black. You can keep going back and forth and touching up your colors as much as you want, and especially if you do kind of like a color correcting situation like I did, then you can go back through and with whatever color you painted her with, you can add little touches here and there to fix any mishaps. Highlight her hair with some white and some gray. That's going to sound strange, but it's going to be the only thing that's highlighting the black. At her mouth, apply some gel sealer over the background and matte gel top coat over Jasmine, and you are all done. For the accent nail, I'm going to begin with an overlay of a very, very glittery teal acrylic. This color is absolutely gorgeous, and it's very complementary to Jasmine's clothes in general, just with the sparkles and everything. It looks so pretty, and it's so very Jasmine when you look at it, at least in my mind. And then encase that nail with a layer of clear acrylic. Super, super important with all that glitter that you encase it so it doesn't get scratchy looking. Just like so, and then file that into shape with your e-file, starting out with a nice coarse bit to remove any bulk, and then switching to a finer bit to refine the surface texture and make it easier to paint on. Same thing like how you wanted to do that. If you would rather do it with a buffer block, that is perfectly fine. There's no right and wrong with these things. Everyone just has to kind of find their personal system. Then going back to your metallic gold paint, I'm going to be adding a little oval at the top of the nail, right at the cuticle, and then beneath that add a V shape with white paint. And then I'm going to paint kind of a lotus-inspired little filigree pattern underneath. Oh, actually, I did a double V, not just a single one, but a double V and then a lotus kind of symmetrical filigree beneath that. So I'm just going to start by doing a petal and then adding a little inner petal. And you can just kind of match whatever you want to do. You can look at some images of some Jasmine cosplay costumes. You can get some really cool ideas from that. Or you can just look at different filigree patterns. You can match mine exactly if you'd like. Or you can look at some images of Jasmine's clothes. There's some pretty impressive, like I said cosplay just because when I was looking at different things, there are some really impressive cosplay costumes out there that can be very inspirational for some nail art. So just add some finishing touches here and there, and like I said, it is symmetrical, and then apply a layer of gel sealer over the top of that, and you are all done. That glitter, like I said before, I just love how it turned out. I think the whole nail is so very Jasmine with the little bit of gold, and yeah, I love it. I hope you guys like it as much as I do, and don't forget to check the description box to see the links to the previously uploaded princess designs, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!